bro. I don't even know what time it is. I'm jet lagged. I'm tired, bruh. And I wake up. And I wake up to more BS. I wake up to more rubbish. I wake up to more dumbness. More news that just doesn't make any sense. That just makes my head spin even more. And I ain't even hungover. Just jet lagged. This team to the left or right of the screen, depending on whichever way you're watching this video, it just beggars belief. And they do this all the time. And they'll pretend they're being ambitious. They'll pretend that they've tried. They'll pretend that they've done all they can this window. All they can this window. Yeah? Team's bleeding. It's on its knees. But we're waiting right up until the end to try and bring some bodies in. The first is a very talented, highly talented 19-year-old kid where loan deal probably would have been more palatable. But I wasn't opposed to a permanent deal, but also knew this kid's not signing for us permanently. Why would he? Why would he? But then you have to ask yourself the question, why are Spurs so keen, or why were we so keen to supposedly spend 50 million quid on a 19-year-old winger after not wanting to spend any P the entire window? And then you put two and two together. Bayern Munich Bayern Munich owe Tottenham 40 million euro for Harry Kane. Mathys Tel has told Bayern Munich he wants to leave. Cha-ching. Cha-ching. So if Tottenham are bidding £50 million, 60 million euro, and they owe us 40 million euro for the Kane deal, well, that makes Mathys Tel available to Tottenham for approximately 15, 16 million, whatever 20 billion euro is converted into in pounds. So this pseudo ambition, no, it's misguided opportunism. It's not ambition. Tel was never signing for Tottenham, not on a permanent. A loan deal probably would have made more sense. There's no way he's going to leave Bayern Munich to come to Tottenham permanently. And we've got Goldilocks going all the way to Germany to try and convince this guy to join Spurs. Listen, I respect it. I always want Tottenham to be in the mix for highly talented players. But you have to ask yourself the question, if you're willing to bid 50 million on Tel, why not try and bid 60 million for Mbeumo? But I just answered the question for you. It's because there was no 60 million to spend. We were going to write off costs that were owed, and we were going to put maybe 15, 16 million on top. That is why you're not going to see an equivalent bid going for another attacker this window. But saying that, I wake up, as I said, to more BS because we try to inquire. We're inquiring. Inquiry Man FC. We're inquiring for Alejandro Garnacho. That's what we need, isn't it? Clear out the decks, people. Clear out the decks. We've already got a left winger in Timo Werner who can't score, who is so bad in his execution in the final third, his finishing, his passing, his crossing. The only thing this guy can do is run at players. Then we've got Son, who is still a fantastic finisher, still a very good crosser, but his legs out wide as a touchdown winger, they're cooked, non-existent. I know he spun Elfsborg the other day, but it's Elfsborg against top level opposition. Son is redundant as a left winger because he just can't fulfill that role at this stage of his career. Then we have Brennan Johnson, who is an absolutely atrocious winger. No take-ons, no dribbles, no flair, no nothing. But inside the box, he can score. He arrives onto the end of things. He can shoot the ball with his left foot, right foot. Decent scorer, but ultimately stinks. Nowhere near good enough for Tottenham. Not good enough, even despite him being one of our highest scorers or our highest scorer. I think either him or Solanke, one of our highest scorers. The point I'm making is he's a road runner. He's a runner. He's a track star. He's a road runner. No brain, no technical quality out wide. Just a goal a decent goal threat inside the box, but he's a non-entity outside the box. So you've got one road runner on the right, one road runner on the left, one forward who literally can't play as a winger, and he's well past his best, and right now isn't a starter in this team for Tottenham, but has to be a starter in this team for Tottenham because he's still better than the rest. And we think, hang on a second. Our solution to this is to add Garnacho. What about Mikey Moore, who just cooked Elfsborg and scored his first senior goal for Tottenham? 17 years old, who's got who's got more potential and more appreciation for a football when it comes to dribbling than a Garnacho. What about Odegaard, who you spent close to 30 million quid on last summer, who also has more appreciation for the ball in terms of dribbling, wanting to take on his man, etc., etc. Listen, I'm sure people watch this video and say, oh, Garnacho is better than both. I don't care what you think. Respectfully, I don't care what you think. The guy stinks. I don't care if he's 20 years old. He stinks. He doesn't bring anything to Tottenham apart from a body. We already have the characteristics that he exhibits in this team, and we've seen what that looks like in this team, and it's not good. Why do I want a worse version of Johnson? And he's not even a worse version of Johnson because he can't even shoot the ball as well as Johnson. But people will tell me, but he scored the Puskas bicycle kick. I don't care. He stinks. He can't dribble. His finishing is poor. He's very weak on the ball. Very, very low technical quality when we're trying to raise the technical level, the technical base of this team. 50 million? Thank God he's deluded. Thank God he's deluded and believes in himself to get a bigger move than Tottenham, because let's face facts, he probably can get a bigger move than Tottenham. Napoli were in for him. Chelsea were sniffing around for him. So clearly teams rate him. And I'm happy for that. But just keep our names out of it. Don't you dare even think of moving a muscle and spending even 20 million quid on this guy. I would not take this guy for free because I just don't see what he adds to Tottenham. I don't. What, pace? We've got pace already. It's not good enough. Brennan Johnson and Werner, they're not good enough. What? Oh, GA? We've got GA and Brennan Johnson. Is that good? You're watching him week in, week out. Is that good? Is it enough? Not for me. Is it enough? Not for me. Stinks. But yeah, he'll nick some goals. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, that's a decent asset to have, like your ability to score goals. But football's a game in 90 minutes. And if your USP is predicated on others engineering a specific situation for you, then what does that mean for us when we actually need you to be the one that engineers situation for others? You're a winger. You're not a striker. Yeah, it's great that you score goals. To be honest, probably an inside forward. But Garnacho, he stinks, man. He absolutely stinks. And yet, we're inquiry men, for a poor player. After you spent 48 million on Johnson, after you brought Timo Werner to this football club, after you've got a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old who play in the same position that are waiting to contribute something over the next couple of years for Tottenham. But yeah, Garnacho is what we need. The right wing is bleeding. Desperate for quality. We're having to flog Kulusevski and play him there. We're having to watch Brennan Johnson stink out there for 89 minutes and somehow poach a goal. But yeah, please, Garnacho is what we need. This club, man. This club, this owner, it's just all a nonsense. And it's all typical Tottenham. It's typical Tottenham. As I said, jet lagged, tired, and I wake up to more BS. And the BS doesn't stop because we ain't even played a football game yet and they're frustrating me. We ain't even played a football game yet this weekend and they're frustrating me. And where do I end? Tomori. We're interested in Tomori. I'm calm with Tomori. He's a competent centre-back. To be honest, I'd be lying if I said I've been watching him closely the last year or so. So I don't know what's happening, Milan. I don't know what his form is like. I don't know where he stands currently in terms of his level. But from what I remember of Tomori, he looked a competent centre-back. He versatile, could play on the left. I think he can play on the right, can play in the back two, can play in the back three. Doesn't treat the ball like a hot potato, and he's played in the Prem before. But again, whilst Milan aren't the bee's knees, I don't know if he wants to come to Tottenham. I don't know if he wants to come to Tottenham. For me, again, it's a needs must situation. I'd probably take Tomori. I probably would. But again, I would just like for the club to sign a player that we actually need. And when I say need, I mean a left-sided defender, as in a left-footed defender who can play left back and can play left centre-back. That is what we need. Now, I think Tomori potentially might be coming in because the Dragusin injury might be serious. And if that's the case, and you'll say, you know what, Tomori, he's going to cover both positions and we're going to get a left-sided centre-back in the summer and we sell Dragusin, calm. That worked for me. But I don't know if I can see that happening. I don't know. To be honest, I don't actually know where I stand. I know I said all of this about Tomori. I don't know where I stand in this Tomori deal now, because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I wish we just had a left-footed defender. Ultimately, I'm not going to cry if Tomori came to the club, because I do think he can come into the team and he can offer us something. But I just wish that we just deal in the business of getting players that we need. Like, we need a left footer to play and cover in both positions. That's what the type of player we need. Like, look at what Timber offers Arsenal in two positions. That's what we need. Look at what Van de Ven offers us at left centre-back. And if we needed him at left-back, that's what we need. That's what we need. But we never get what we need, typically. We very rarely get what we need with this hierarchy, with this owner. Yeah? We're the 1st of February. The window closes on Monday. And now we're scrambling, shuffling, skirting around, trying to get deals done. Man thinks he's the Artful Dodger. Wheeler dealer. You're not that guy, buddy. You're not that guy, pal. You're just an incompetent owner. I'm sorry. They're just incompetent. The pseudo ambition for Tel ain't tricking me. You've seen the story, you've seen this playbook for years and years and years and years and years. Ain't tricking me, ain't fooling me. Garnacho, inquiry man. Terrible player, and they're inquiring for a terrible player. And maybe I'm going over the top with terrible player, but he's not good enough. Don't care if you don't agree with me. It's my opinion. He's not good enough and does not give Tottenham anything. And now we're going for Tomori, who, for me, comes into this team and definitely plays. But is he what we need? Well, depends on your interpretation of what we need. But what we do know is certain. This ownership, they're inept. They're not good enough. They were well past their sell-by date years ago. When they sacked Maurizio Pochettino, they're cooked. They don't know how to build a highly competitive squad. And that's it.